very good morning to you all and a very warm welcome to our Amazing the Space digital showcase. My name is Matt Gamble and I work for Cooperation Ireland, heading up the Amazing the Space project as Programme Coordinator. We are very grateful to every one of you for joining us today, and we really hope you enjoy what we have in store for you. Doesn't take me to tell you that we've all faced a year full of challenges and disruption to our lives. We want to focus on the hope of better days ahead and congratulate you all for your involvement in this year's Amazing the Space project. Amazing the Space continues to find ways of giving young people a voice as they work together on peace-building projects that promote good relations and nurture respect between schools across Northern Ireland and the border counties. Although we have been unable to meet in person during the project, we have adapted in moving to online engagement and workshops. We are extremely grateful to our regional cluster groups for their efforts with the project and their willingness to learn new things and work together. We want to thank our teacher coordinators for all their hard work and planning on top of an already extremely busy year, with efforts doubled to ensure that learning has continued both in the classroom and online. And most importantly, we want to say a special thanks to our participants, you, the students, who have engaged with the project and made the most of the opportunity to make it a success. The two themes which our regional cluster groups undertook this year were peace building and good relations through exploring cultures and traditions, and peace building and good relations through sport. The theme of exploring cultures and traditions was taken on by both our Bangor and Newry and South Armagh regional clusters. Bangor Academy and St Columbanus College engaged in online workshops with Nandi Jola, who gave a powerful account of her experiences moving to Northern Ireland through storytelling as she interacted with the students and their questions. The students also experienced a drumming and mindfulness session with Marcella Gilliland, complete with pots, pans and wooden spoons for a drum kit, and a really important activity in creating a gratitude tree where students were encouraged to take the time to think about the things which they were grateful for over these past 12 months. Our Newry and South Armagh regional cluster took to the kitchen as students and teachers alike tried their hand at cooking cultural dishes from Africa, Japan and Mexico. Resources were produced by Arts Acta through creative videos and step-by-step instructions as students from Newry High School, St Paul's Bestbrook, Newton Hamilton High School and St Joseph's Crossmaglen learnt more about the culinary traditions and culture of these unique and interesting places. Our regional cluster in Ballycastle took on the theme of sport. Year 11 PE students from Ballycastle High School and Cross and Passion College engaged in online presentation from Danny Cooper of Disability Sport Northern Ireland on the importance of inclusion in sport and understanding the wide range of disability sports available. One of the goals of our students in Ballycastle is to find ways of helping more people become involved in sport. Coming up in our showcase, we have highlights from this year's project and really insightful contributions by guest speakers from those involved with the promotion of cultures and traditions and those from the world of sport. We will hear from Cooperation Ireland's Chief Executive, Peter Sheridan, who will update on our ongoing work and thank the students for their efforts in what has been an extremely challenging year. Closing out the showcase this morning, we have the Song of Hope and Friendship, a performance of a virtual choir comprising 48 young people from 6 schools across Ireland who are performing the hit song Dreams by the Cranberries. It's safe to say we have some lineup. To kick off the showcase, we are going to watch a short video with highlights and student messages from this year's Amazing the Space project. We hope you like it.
Okay, so another great book for me, if you want to understand me as a person, you would need to read this one, The Long Walk to Freedom, Nelson Mandela. We all Belfast asked your parents to drive past the Peace Walls, and there's a big mural of Mandela there. And I think he was an icon because he has championed the message of forgiveness. Mandela was the first Black president of South Africa. How can we help to create an inclusive, peaceful country? The journey of 1,000 steps starts with one, doesn't it? It starts with us. It starts within us. What are you doing? Are you, doing the right things? Are you learning? Are you educating yourself?
So yeah, trees, gratitude, make it beautiful, make sure that it's well rooted, make sure that it's well rooted, that it's grounded, it's good, not just a tree, whatever, what's she talking about doing a tree? No, this is really important stuff. Make sure that that image is very well grounded, and then the tree is really strong, because this is representative of ourselves, and these are very big things that are very important in our lives.
Your face.
Let's all hold up our gratitude trees and let Catherine take a picture. Funny. Sophie, would you hold yours up too?
Oh, yes.
Hello, today we are going to make some sweet potato chapati. Chapati is basically African and Asian staple diet, but sweet potato is mostly used quite a lot in everyday cooking in Africa. So any parts of Africa will have definitely sweet potato as one of their main diets.
Hello guys, my name is Denise. I'm from Mexico City, and today we're gonna bake banana bread. So let's bake.
Let me tell you a bit about my beautiful city. The flight time from Belfast to Mexico City is 15 hours. The population in Mexico City is almost 22 million people. It's 21 times Belfast population. Mexico City was built on a lake. Tenochtitlan was an Aztec capital, city founded in 1925. It was located on an island in Lake Texcoco, which today is in the downtown of Mexico City. Mexico City has the largest amount of museums in the Americas. Mexico City Main Square, the Zócalo, is the world's third largest public square. It's time to go back to the kitchen. Let's take the banana cake out to the oven. I hope you enjoyed this recipe, so thank you very much and see you later. Adios.
I really enjoyed doing the Cooperation Ireland events. I find them very fun and educational.
Thanks to all our students and teachers who have contributed to the highlights on this year's project. I would now like to introduce two guest speakers who have presentations and messages to our students highlighting their experiences in relation to cultures and traditions in Northern Ireland today. First up, we have Rwanda Shaw. Rwanda is a singer and entertainer from Lisburn. She has performed at many events and celebrations organised to bring life to the city of Belfast and beyond, and has performed in local girl band Second Nature alongside a number of collaborations with local musicians. Rwanda wants to put Northern Ireland on the map for musicians and to encourage young people to use their talents to add to the wealth of cultures we have here. We will then hear from Maciek Bator. Maciek moved to Northern Ireland from Poland in 2004, and he has worked effectively with a range of communities in helping to break down prejudices and helping to cultivate better understanding towards new communities in our society. We are very grateful to Rwanda and Maciek for their help and support in this year's Amazing the Space Showcase. Before we hear from them, this is a short video promoting the story of Amazing the Space through the creation of the Peace Pledge Tree and student testimonies as to the benefits of learning about different cultures and traditions on the project.
Everyone, welcome to Amazing the Space. Young people having their say about peace, not just here in Northern Ireland, but right around the world.
Peace is not fighting, but talking.
Peace starts with respect and equality for all.
Respect other religions and cultures.
Respect the rights of everyone.
We will not let beliefs get in the way of friendship.
We pledge to work towards a world with peace of mind, equality and forgiveness.
This week we went to Stormont.
What makes Amazing the Space so special is the fact that young people are the driving force behind it. Over 400 schools from across Northern Ireland and the border counties are involved. Participants have come together regardless of age, religion and ethnic background to pledge their support for a more peaceful society.
May I introduce the Peace Pledge from Kenya?
I pledge to shine the light of peace through safe internet use wherever I find conflict in my school, neighborhood and country.
We stand with the youth of Ireland in their efforts towards peace.
Can I now call upon Deputy First Minister?
I pledge to work tirelessly with everyone to ensure tolerance, equality and mutual respect become the bedrock of a new and shared future.
Younger people have a sense that it's easier to make friends. Well, that's what I find anyway. And because people nowadays are a lot more open about things. And for adults and older people, I find that they could take this into account because they still think, depending on religion, race, it doesn't matter, that they still have to stay within their own group, but that's not true.
I think that shared educations are important because it builds up links for later between two different cultures really, so it can only be good. I think keep doing these here kind of things and just not judging a book by its cover and don't treat anyone differently because we're all just people.
Before I did the programme, I didn't really know a lot about the other cultures and what they did together. Projects help address racism and they teach you about the other cultures and they tell you about why they do things and everything.
I would definitely recommend it because, like I said, young people need to know about things like this and it would be great if the word could be spread.
Hi, my name is Rwanda Shaw. I'm 25 years old and I live in County Armagh. I am a singer and I've been singing pretty much my whole life. I've been professionally singing for the last 5 years in and around Belfast. And I absolutely love it. It's absolutely unbelievable. I grew up in a little place called Torella, which is in County Down, just outside Downpatrick. I lived here until I was about 11, until my mum and dad broke up and I moved to Lisburn. My experience with school, I would say, was mostly positive. And at one point I was the only black person in my school. And there was no one else of any other race at all, even close by. I think it's really important for kids to be educated on different cultures and let them know that there's other people out there that are different. So I joined the school choir at around age 8, I think, and did loads of school competitions along the way, and I pretty much knew from when I was really young that singing is where I belonged. So whenever I got into secondary school and changed schools, I realised that that's exactly what I wanted to do, and as soon as the teachers found out, they made sure I sang at every school like play or competition or anything that was going, and that really did let me gain a lot of confidence. But I still had issues with who I was. I straightened my hair every single day, put on so much makeup and covered up the fact that I was who I was. So usually I play in all the bars around Belfast. I've been doing this for 5 years, as I said, and I absolutely love it. I have been singing my whole life and have been influenced from Michael Jackson to Beyonce, Adele, and pretty much everyone in between. I actually used singing as an escape. I grew up in an abusive home, and singing to me was everything. So it's definitely carried on into my adult life that singing is everything to me, and I really do love it. I think that my singing actually ties in with pretty much everything about me, my culture and my whole life. My mum really brought us up with a lot of music in the house, so I've had music in the brain from I was no age. I definitely have a lot of influences from the African culture and the way that I dress, or the music that I listen to, and the people that I even surround myself with. There's actually an organisation called ACSONI, which is the African and Caribbean Support Organisation of Northern Ireland, and they are fantastic for the work that they do in and around Belfast. They've done things like Culture Night, Africa Day, and even St Patrick's Day, and at these events they make sure that people's cultures are really put across and that people get to experience food, clothes, fashion, hair, everything, just everything about the culture. And I really think that that is so important, especially in Belfast. Yes, we are the capital city, but I think it's still quite small. And I think there's a lot of work to be done where integration should be in all schools, and that people should be taught from a young age about loads of different cultures. I really think it's important to learn from a young age that there are different people out there and that people are not the same as you, and there's nothing wrong with that. Just because somebody is different, you shouldn't treat them any different. They're still the same person. Yes, people are different and we should celebrate our cultures, but everyone should be treated with respect and treated equally. So my message for you is to just broaden your mind, broaden your horizons, meet new people, and don't be afraid to get stuck into new things.
Hi there, my name is Maciek, and as you can hear from my accent, I'm not from Northern Ireland. I was born and raised in Poland, and in 2004, by complete accident, I ended up staying in Northern Ireland. The reason why I came here was very simple. In 2004, when Poland joined the European Union, Polish people granted access to the labor market in countries such United Kingdom and the Republic. Majority of people who came here came to search for a better life, mainly with employment purposes. And I wasn't any different. In 2004, I was offered a position in Moira in a company called Moipark. If you never heard of it, it's a company producing food. And my initial plan was to actually spend in Moipark and in Northern Ireland just 3 months. And there is a reason for it. Like most of people in Poland at that time, we didn't know much about Northern Ireland. The only thing which we could hear was based on negative stories, based on the stories from the past, based on the conflict, on terrorism, on riots. So my impression was that Northern Ireland is not the best place to live, that actually Northern Ireland is quite dangerous, that every single person here is involved in terrorism, and that it might not be the most pleasant place for someone who is not local. So that is why I wanted to come here, save some money and move elsewhere. I was hoping that I can actually go and travel for a bit. Luckily, we have 2021 and I'm still living in Northern Ireland. As you can imagine, I decided to stay here. From 3 months, I decided to stay for another 3 months, for another year, another 2, another 3. And I've been living here for 17 years almost. Northern Ireland became my home, and I actually spent here half of my life. I can actually say that most of my adult life I actually spent in Northern Ireland. I have plenty of positive memories from Poland. I also have a huge value of memories that was made in Northern Ireland. That is why I believe Northern Ireland is my home. If someone would ask me to go home, I'll have to go to Glengormy, because that's where my home is at the moment. As majority people from Poland, shortly after I came to Northern Ireland, I was a bit confused. I was prejudiced about this place before I came, because I thought Northern Ireland is absolutely not my favorite place to live or to stay. And I changed my opinion quite quickly when I met with local people, when I discovered that not every single person here is involved in terrorism, and that Northern Ireland has so many beautiful places. But I was actually experiencing what I would call a reverse prejudice. Now I became the target. Plenty of people were saying that I came here to steal jobs, steal houses and drain benefit system, which is actually not true, because if I would have a power to steal a job, I wouldn't steal a job in a chicken factory. I would rather steal a job that would pay me much more, and a job that would be much more prestige. So for example, I would become a CEO of an international company, or maybe I would replace one of the famous actors from Northern Ireland. I think I would be rather Nielsen than Dorian, but it's a personal preferences. I was also experiencing what I would call overwhelming curiosity coming from local people, because every day I was actually being asked one question: where I'm from. And it's okay with this question, I'm not trying to complain, but it was very difficult to adjust myself to it when people were asking me this question every single day, 2, 3, 5 times. I was living here, already maybe 6, 7, 8 years, but people still see me as a blow-in, as a migrant, or someone as someone who is not integrated with the society. And I think it was actually so frustrating for me, because it was a constant reminder that I'm not from here, that I'm not local, and Northern Ireland is not my home, that I decided to start educating people on what Poland is and what Polish culture is about. I think it was for me the way to answer the question to people, where I'm from. I decided to do it on a mass scale. I decided to actually start a project that is focusing on shared history of Polish pilots that were based in Northern Ireland in the Second World War, a history of Polish people who came to Northern Ireland and stayed. And I think that was also the reason, I started this because I really wanted to make sure that the level of prejudice or level of hate crime against Polish people or any other migrant or a person from diverse background who is living in Northern Ireland is not existent. In the Second World War, there was over 100 Polish pilots based in Northern Ireland. We have several locations related to the history of Polish Air Force in Northern Ireland, from County Down and Ards Peninsula to the North Coast. I'm hoping you can actually see the map here. If not, I would recommend you to visit our Facebook page, which is called For Your Freedom and Ours. It's very easy to find, because that's how we called our project. For the past years, I've been able to work with different communities across Northern Ireland, promoting shared history, bringing people places locally, as well as taking them to Poland, where they could actually discover what Polish culture and Polish hospitality is themselves. I just would like to say thank you very much to Cooperation Ireland for giving me this opportunity to record this video. It is very difficult to explain what Polish culture is, or what Poland or Polish people are about in 10 minutes. But I tried to explain you as much as I could my first impression of Northern Ireland and how I felt when I decided to come here, what sort of obstacles I was facing living in Northern Ireland. Now, Northern Ireland is my home. I'm not planning to move. I will stay here. I really like the people, not necessarily the weather, but well, maybe the climate change or the global warming might sort out this one for us. And my actual goal is to make sure that people not only from the Polish background, but any diverse background would have a decent life in Northern Ireland, and they wouldn't have to be exposed to any level of discrimination, prejudice, or hate crime. So I just would like to finish with this message, and I hope that you guys, as the next generation of people in Northern Ireland, would actually accept inclusion as one of their day-to-day values. Thank you.
Thanks so much to both Rwanda Shaw and Maciek Bator for their presentations and messages to our students on Amazing the Space this morning. I would now like to introduce to you a young athlete from Sport NI who will tell us about their journey in sport and encourage us as to the benefits that sport can bring in our lives. We will then hear a very special podcast compared by footballing legend and sports pundit Gerry Armstrong with 3 young sports athletes about their involvement in sport and the importance of support for good mental health as young people who are making a positive impact with their skills and talents. Before we hear from our sports athlete and our sports podcast, here's a short video showing workshops from previous Amazing the Space projects linked to being active in sport. We hope you enjoy.
Young people having their say about good relations and peace building.
Lovely to have the young people running the show. That's what this is all about. Just as this wee light shining onto my page, you can shine a wee light onto the path and help us all do things a lot better than what we've been doing.
It is very important that our generation does its bit to make sure that peace remains in our province.
Hi guys, my name's James McSorley, I'm 26, I'm from Belfast and I play wheelchair basketball for Great Britain. So I started playing basketball when I was 6 years old with my sister, who is also a wheelchair user. At the start it was just a way for my family to get us involved in some sort of physical activity because as a kid with a disability, getting involved in sports wasn't quite as simple as it would have been for an able-bodied person. There was no going around the corner with my mates and sticking a couple of jumpers down as posts and playing football. So for us, it was really just a chance to get moving and get out of the house, and I'm so grateful that my parents took the chance to get me involved because it's completely changed my life. Obviously now it's my profession. I'm very, very fortunate to be playing the sport I love as my job, and it's taken me all over the world and it's helped me see the world, and I've won medals, I've been involved in world championships and European championships, and I've been a part of some very, very great teams, but it's played a much bigger role in my life than that. It's been massive for my physical health, obviously, my mental health at various points in my life, and it's really helped me change my perception of myself as a disabled person and other people with disabilities. So over various points in my life, I've had some difficult times. My mum passed away when I was younger. I've had some physical health struggles more recently, and sport has been massive in me helping my mental health all the way through that. It's given me sort of a safe haven, a little bubble in which I sort of felt protected from everything that was going on off court, and I'm very, very grateful for that, because that's not something that a lot of people have, and it's something that everyone can get in sports if they're in the right sort of group and surrounded by the right people. But I think one of the big things was early on, the only other person with a disability I'd ever met was my sister. And just, I always remember pushing into that room for the first time and seeing a load of kids around my age with different disabilities, all playing wheelchair basketball, moving in the same direction, playing the same sport. And no doubt there was a load of different people from different backgrounds, different places all over Northern Ireland in that one room. And that really opened my eyes up to not only how big the world was out there and how many different people there are with the same things going on as I was, but also how many people there were going around in their day-to-day life that were completely different to me. And that was a really valuable lesson, because it helped me sort of see past my disability and see that other people were doing well, experiencing the same sort of things as I was, but also sort of that there were a load of different people from different backgrounds in different places, and it didn't matter because we were all playing the same sport, moving in the same direction and trying to achieve the same things. And I think that was a really valuable lesson for me to learn very early on. One of the things that motivates me is my dream of becoming a Paralympian, and I'm working every day to make the GB team when it's selected this summer for the Tokyo 2021 Paralympics. One of the other things that motivates me massively is I want to achieve the things that I set out to achieve for the people who've helped me along the way, all the coaches, my parents, my family, my fiance. You know, I want to be able to say that I achieved what I wanted to achieve in the sport of wheelchair basketball because of the help they've given me along the way, because it's meant a lot to me over the years. And, you know, I want to be able to say it was all worth it for myself and obviously for all the people around me, because there's been a lot of people that have given up a lot for me to do what I'm doing. I think one of the other big things is every day that I get up and train, I'm aware that me doing what I do for a job, achieving my dreams, might make some other people, whether that's kids with disabilities in Northern Ireland or other people from Northern Ireland playing other sports, other young people, it might make them realise that this sort of stuff's achievable, because I know that that's something that I wasn't sure of when I was growing up. I never knew I'd be able to make it this far in the sport that I love, and I want people to see that it is absolutely possible. So, given all of that, my current training schedule looks like 5 days a week on court in the morning shooting, 5 evenings a week team training, and a couple of gym sessions in there as well. So it's pretty full on when you consider it's that and also a game every Saturday night. But I absolutely love it, and I'm very, very fortunate to be doing what I'm doing. It's given me all these opportunities, whether that's been the travel. As I said earlier in the video, I'm playing professionally in Spain. I've seen the world. I've been able to see some really cool things, meet some really, really great people, and it's helped me to develop a lot as a person as well, from a young guy with a disability right through to a 26-year-old who's feeling more confident. And I've had obviously the mental health benefits and the physical health benefits, but one of the big things the sport gave me, as I said, was the people I've met. I've been very, very fortunate that I've been around a lot of great leaders, whether they were coaches or teammates, and I've seen so many different styles of leadership. I've been at the very top of the pile in teams in Northern Ireland, and I've been one of the younger new guys in GB teams, and it's been really, really fascinating to see how people who lead with sort of empathy and compassion and positivity have had a really, really positive benefit in sort of my career and had a really, really positive influence. And I think the other side of that is seeing all the different organizations I've been a part of, all the different teams I've been a part of. The ones that have been successful have been the ones that have worked together in a group who've had the same common goal and have all pointed in the same direction and moved forward. And yeah, that's something I'll take forward into every group I'll ever be with, whether that's other wheelchair basketball teams or whether it's professionally when I stop playing and I have to get a real job. The fact that leading with positivity and coming together with positivity is by far the best way to achieve your goals and move forward and have everyone feeling good and playing good and performing well. That's the big thing I would take away from all the different leaders and teams I've been around. But overall, I think one of the very special things for me about sports and about wheelchair basketball in general is, as a young person, I got to meet so many new people. I had so many cool experiences, whether that was traveling or playing against other people in a group of really, really close friends and, you know, working together to achieve a common goal. And I think that's absolutely massive for people growing up. It was for me, you know, being a young kid with a disability, 6 years old, to 20 years later still playing the sport I love. I still think one of the most important things that wheelchair basketball has brought me were the new experiences that I was lucky to have and the new people I was lucky to meet. And I think especially growing up in Northern Ireland, sport has a real chance to change people's lives, and it certainly has changed mine. And I am grateful, and it motivates me every day to keep going.
Hi, it's Jerry Armstrong here, and welcome to our Amazing the Space initiative here, which is part of Cooperation Ireland. And I'm very proud and pleased to say that I'm heavily involved with this. It's a youth-led peace building initiative, and we have a big event at the end of this month. And another event in Galway at the end of next month. And it's basically about the ambassadors and the role that they will play, and trying to keep our community and keep our country on the right track. And these are, I think, the future stars. And I know what sport brought for me as an international football player for Northern Ireland in World Cups and the achievement we had. But at the time we were playing football, we weren't really aware of the impact we were having all around the world. And we obviously didn't realize it, but we represented our country. We give them an identity. We give them pride. You know, when we won results and we won the game, we didn't just win it for ourselves. We won it for our whole country, for everybody in Ireland. And we had support from all over the place. And it was great to see the number of telegrams after the Spain game in 1982. And again, when we qualified in 1986. So, you know, it's fantastic. And I can talk about sport. And I'm talking about football, but it's not just football. You know, I look at 1972 when Mary Peters won her gold medal. How proud were you to come from Northern Ireland when you seen that? And again, when Alex Higgins won the World Championship snooker, again, it's crazy. But, you know, you feel part of it, and they're representing you, and you're so proud to come from Ireland. And again, you look at Rory McIlroy when he starts winning his major championships. And it's all the sports, the Joey Dunlops, the George Bests, you know, and then we go to all the other sports. And I'm going to come across to my guest today, and I'm pleased to say it's Jack Wright. And your sport, Jack, was rugby, and you were a star player, I remember, as a 17, 18-year-old for Ulster.
Yeah, well, that's some time ago now, but yeah, I lived and breathed rugby for a long time, and as you said, I represented the Ulster junior squad, played right up through to the under-20s. So it's good times. It's great to be part of a team, and it's definitely played a huge part in my life and still does today.
Well, can you tell me a bit about your story? Because I know you personally, and I know you've had your trials and tribulations at 17, 18. And Jack, you said it was a long time ago. You're only 22.
Ah, well, true. Yeah, so a bit of my story is, so why I'm here today, I'm really just trying to advocate now for mental health. I'm just trying to raise awareness, and that's really what my focus is. It's been a big part of my life. So as Jerry and I were just saying, I played a lot of rugby growing up, and I had a really good time here while I was growing up through school and stuff. And when I moved away to Scotland for university, things started to go downhill quite quickly. I never really found my place abroad. I struggled to find a friend group. I struggled to find a healthy routine, and it was just a bit of a slippery slope. I ended up not being able to sleep very well. I took up a lot of unhealthy habits, and slowly but surely my mental health began to deteriorate, and it led me to the point of feeling of suicidal, and I planned to take my own life. And thankfully, I didn't take my own life, and I was able to come home, and I began to open up to friends and family, just close around me, just to say, look, I'm really, really struggling. And that's when then I had booked an appointment with my GP, and I was diagnosed with clinical depression. And from that day on, it's been a kind of uphill battle, and there's been good days and bad days. But yeah, it's been rough, but it's now just refocusing. I've had a couple of good years. I've had a lot of good help, a lot of good people around me, and I think that's what's important. And the focus is just trying to remind each other we're not in this alone. Yeah. And last October, I started this kind of brand, this clothing brand called How Are You Really? And it's basically just ethically made clothes that seeks to raise awareness around the question of mental health, and just taking it one step further. I know here in Ireland, in Northern Ireland, we use "How are you" as an opening phrase, as a greeting, almost as "What about you?" or whatever. But it's just trying to ask that next question, to go that a little bit deeper, and just go, how are you? But how are you really? How are you really doing? And yeah, that's pretty much a little bit of my story. Whistle stop tour, like, but yeah, that's what it is.
Well, you see, there's connections there for me, because you were on your own over at university, and then when you got support from your family and friends, and again, it's like people say, oh, that goal you scored in 1982, you think I never scored another goal. They only talk about the one goal. And I go, hold on, there was 10 other players on the park, plus the subs who come on to help to get that result. And it's a team game, and you can't do a lot of things. You can't do it on your own. And that's why we have these initiatives. And that's why we're looking for, the stars of the future who are going to be leaders and hopefully take our country into a new dimension. We have so much talent. We're not a big island, and we're not a big population, but we have a massive amount of talent. And I've said it, whether it's musicians and whether it's singers, whether it's sports people, we always achieve really high figures. And I'm very proud of that fact. And again, I just want to emphasize how important it is. And you explained it very well, Jack, when you said that you had got the mental issues, and the help that you got from your family and your friends, that got you through it. And everybody doesn't have good days every day. I'm the same. We all have bad days, but you've got to overcome that and look to the future and try and see the brighter side. There's always light at the end of the tunnel for me, and hopefully that's the way it is with you.
I totally agree with you, Jerry. I think that's really where we as a community, as a wider community, need to focus in on. Is there's not going to be some big magic answer that falls out of the sky that's going to be able to change people's lives. It's a grassroots movement. There's that old saying of it takes a village to raise a child. And I think that's the approach that we have to have towards people's mental health, especially nowadays when we're dealing with, the whole COVID situation and the ramifications of lockdowns. People are really struggling right now. And I think, you hit the nail on the head when you talk about, family or friends. It's about a community coming together. Even as you're talking about football, it's the team coming together to achieve one goal. And I think that's really what we need to be doing. And it starts, in my opinion, with just asking a simple question of how are you really doing? So when I go to see my grandmother who lives by herself, and I'm talking to her through the window, it's the general chit chat, but it's then going, actually, well, Nanny, how are you really doing? And it's the same way when I meet, young people. I'm a youth worker, so when I meet young people in the streets that I haven't seen in a long, long time, because of the lockdowns and the regulations, there's a small, quick opportunity to say, well, how are you really doing? How can I be helping you? I'm thinking of you. And it's just trying to come together as a community and really keep our mental health at the core of this.
No, 100%. And I think because of what's happened in the last year of the pandemic, well-being and mental awareness has, for me, it's hit the very top. And we've realized that ourselves over the year. And the more people I talk to, the more important it's going to be. But I think in the years to come, it's going to be an even greater importance. And that's why we need people with the right mentality and attitude who know this is the way we have to move forward. You can't go backwards. You have to move forward and look at all the positive sides of it. But thanks very much, Jack. I really appreciate you coming on and expressing your views and being so honest as well. And that takes a lot of bravery for me. And that's what we need. We need young men like yourselves for the future.
Well, thank you very much, Jerry. I really appreciate it. I appreciate the opportunity coming on. And it's always great to chat and catch up with you.
Thank you, Jack. And I'm pleased and privileged to say for the first time, I'm going to be interviewing Amy Mackin. And Amy is a very unique young lady. And your bio is so awesome. You're from South Armagh. You attended St. Paul's School in Bestbrook. And you've done so much. The Mackin family are all big in the GAA, which I was as a boy as well. And you played for the Shane O'Neill club and developed your skills. But you also played for Northern Ireland. And so a bit like myself, I played Gaelic and hurling as a boy and then became an international star playing for Northern Ireland, which is quite unique. And I want to talk to you about your career and how it's gone. You've been pretty impressive. I've just read you, was it the Ulster final? You scored 2 goals and 4 points?
No, I think that was against Dublin. That was the game before the Ulster final. I think the Ulster final I might have only scored about 3 points. So, but we got the win. What was it, sorry?
Was that at Croke Park?
No, it was in Breffni Park in Cavan against Dublin. Usually the All-Ireland semi-finals are played in Croke Park, but with everything going on this year, it was put in Breffni.
Very good. Well, it's impressive, and I want to talk to you. And obviously, you know, I want to talk about what, for me, sport is a great healer, and it's great at bringing communities together. It's done so much for me to leave Northern Ireland and become a professional football player. And in the height of the Troubles was a great opportunity, and to go and play and have a career that I had, and that I owe that all to sport. And again, healthy body, healthy mind, everything else. I loved training. I don't know about you, but I personally love training. I love getting up in the morning and get out and keeping fit. And it didn't matter whether I was playing Gaelic football or I was playing soccer. I just enjoyed it. So I want you to tell me a bit about yourself and how you've developed. And I know you did have a bad injury, and I want you to talk to me about that as well.
Yeah, I think, as you said, sport is a healer. I've definitely come from a big sporting background within my family. So as soon as we were able to walk, there was a football at our feet, and whether that be Gaelic, soccer, camogie, you know, we were sort of involved in a lot of sports when we were young, and I sort of went the Gaelic and soccer route then as I get older. But yeah, it's definitely helped me over the course of my time, and definitely my brothers and sisters are heavily involved in the county team. So I think, as you said, it's just enjoyable to get out and train, and it definitely helps your mindset as well.
Totally. And what about the injury you got? I think you were 19, were you, when you got the injury?
Yeah, it was in 2019. I done my cruciate. We were playing against Cork. It's not the best injury to get as a footballer, and it's the first wee while you're just kind of getting used to getting your head around how you're going to prepare to get back onto the pitch. But I didn't look too much into the future. I took small goals and just knew that if I ticked the boxes that I get where I wanted to get to. And I think it was just on myself. I knew if I put in the work rate and the hard work was put in, and eventually I'd get onto the pitch and be able to do what I was doing beforehand.
Yeah, but see, this is where sport can be fantastic, because you've got people to help you and support you, you know, especially with an injury. And did you have the right medical staff who were backing you and supporting you all the way?
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's a big thing. I definitely couldn't have done it on my own. From the surgeon, from my physios, from my S&C coaches, you know, I had to listen to the experts, and I basically just done what I was told. I think as a player, you have to be willing to adapt and willing to take on responsibility, but you also need help from other people, and you have to take the information from other people. And that's not just from an injury point of view, that's from a playing point of view. You have to take other people's knowledge to try and improve your own game, and I took that then as part of my injury process as well.
And what about your mental attitude in terms of the determination, you know, because I know when I got injuries in the past, I hated them because I couldn't train, I couldn't play, and it was usually only a week or two. But I think cruciate is at least 6 months, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's what they said. They put a time frame on it. They say probably 9 months is probably the main target. But I think for me, it wasn't, the mental side was a big thing. I probably didn't get too low with the low. I didn't get myself bogged down with all the negative stuff that goes around that injury. I didn't overthink it. I just took it step by step. And it's a funny thing to say that I enjoyed the rehab process. I didn't enjoy being injured, but I just enjoyed the process of getting myself better because I used the time to work on my overall performance and worked on upper body strength. So I enjoyed the process as such, but not too much. I didn't like training on my own.
See, now I see you as a future leader for us because, you know, you had a challenge put in front of you and you were undaunted by it and you really went into it and you enjoyed the challenge. And I think that's the sort of attitude you have to have if you're going to be a progressive person and a positive person. And I have to say, I wouldn't relish having a cruciate injury, but you're so young that you've got plenty of time to overcome that. And I've no doubt in my mind that you're going to go on and do bigger, better things. And what position, by the way, do you play in the GAA?
I play full forward, or anywhere in the full forward line. Yeah.
And what about for Northern Ireland, for Kenny Shields and the girls?
Left wing or striker. I haven't played under Kenny. When I was playing, it was Alfie Wiley. That was my man.
I know Alfie well. Yeah, no, that's good. So when can we expect you back?
I haven't been back playing soccer yet at all. When I came back from my injury, I decided I'd focus on one just so that I wasn't doing too much. But now that I've built myself up into good enough shape that it's probably something in the future. I'm hoping. I can see the Northern Ireland girls are doing well, so it's definitely something that I'm looking at and thinking I'd like to be part of.
Yeah, well, they have a big game in April, haven't they? And we keep our fingers crossed for them against the Ukraine.
Yeah, hopefully they can get the job done.
Yeah, well, listen, I wish you well, and I'm very convinced and positive that we'll be seeing you starring for Northern Ireland and for Armagh in the future. So thank you so much, Amy, for your time.
No bother at all. Thank you.
Right, and next on the show, I'm pleased to say I've got Mickey Quigg. Hello, Mickey.
Thanks for having me, folks. Delighted to be here.
Listen, you've got quite a bio here. It's very interesting. You know, Mickey Quigg, you know, and you've been a games development manager for the New York GAA, which is very interesting. And also you were elected as student leader for the Ulster University, which is, that's the student union. It's great, the county, coaching at club level, county level, and obviously educational levels. It's all been really, really interesting. But I want to talk to you about, you know, the reward you get, obviously, from finding young talent and helping them to get to achieve a level of a standard or a level of fitness and to play for their county or their country.
Yeah, definitely. I think as you sort of said yourself at the start, you know, with game development, it is very rewarding. You get to see, you know, even from underage, whether it's under sixes or under eights, not being able to, you know, strike the ball or able to do a certain skill like a roll lift or a proper kick pass. And then as the weeks go on, as the years go on, you get to see, you know, the skills develop and them start to love and enjoy the game and the standard increase and, you know, a bit of winning going along too. But I suppose a lot of my role would be coach education as well. So when you're able to give back to the coaches at club level and see them get the fruits of their labour is also, you know, very very rewarding and very enjoyable to see, and it makes the job definitely worthwhile.
No, I hear you say rewarding, and I know when I was sort of finishing my career off and you wonder what I was going to do, and then I started doing a bit of coaching, and the fun you get out of seeing a young lad, as you say, being able to use both feet and improving his skills and helping him to improve his fitness. But then the other part of it's confidence building, and there's a mentality involved in that. So can you tell me about that, Mickey?
Yeah, definitely. I think I suppose, you know, like anything, like every training session, every match, you want it to be challenging for players, and I think that's regardless of whatever sport it is in. Because if you set someone a bit of a challenge, and you know it's not too easy, not too hard, but if they start to get better at something, whether it be a skill or a certain game or any sport, you know, that's when the confidence grows, and they can see that real self sense of achievement. as things go on. And we talk about sport as having all these different skills that can go back into the workplace, whether it be leadership, whether it be communication, whether it be teamwork, resilience, and it all feeds back into sport, because those are the skills that you learn and you pick up that sport can instill. So yeah, hopefully I think that sort of answers the question, hopefully.
Yeah, it does. And it's also, when you have the camps, and I actually coached in the United States with George Best and David McCreary and Danny McGrain. I had coaching camps over there. And most of the camps that we did, I would say at least 60% of them were girls. And they were just so much into their soccer and so much into their physicality and keeping fit. And it was great over a period of a month when we were there coaching, watching their development of their skills. But also you have to set targets. You were saying, achievements. But if you set targets, and the girls and the guys used to have such a great response to achieve a target after 2 or 3 weeks. And you could see them mentality-wise, they get stronger and believed a lot more in themselves. And I think that plays a big part in the game as well.
Yeah. I think even in coaching and stuff too, I think it's nearly went back over the last, especially for lockdown. There was a big emphasis on, being, having the person come first before the player, and building those relationships to get the best out of your players. And I think, when you show a player that you care about them, outside of the playing field, that's when you really get to see the confidence and their skills develop. But you're absolutely right. I think it's anything, if it's in sport, even in the gym or anything, but if you can, once you start hitting 1 or 2 targets and 1 or 2 set goals that you've outlined yourself or with your management, that gives you a real sense to keep pushing it and keep going and keep getting better, which is, it's all small steps, but it's all always in the right direction, always up,
Totally. And I was fortunate enough to play in a Northern Ireland team international wise for 10 years, but there's a bond develops as well, Mickey. And you start to believe in each other, and you understand each other's strengths and weaknesses. And that's where the team as a unit starts to play, because not everybody in the team can be a superstar. We can't all be a George Best, but we have players who perform a particular task, and that task is so important to the team. And I think as a development officer or a coach, as a manager, you have to try and put that structure together. And that's something that takes talent as well.
Thanks so much to Sport NI and to Jerry, Mickey, Jack and Amy for all their contributions and encouragement to us on Amazing the Space. It's so good to hear such a diverse mix of talents and experiences from the promotion of cultures and traditions and the world of sport today. We are so grateful to everyone who has contributed to this showcase this morning and for all your help and efforts on this year's Amazing the Space project. I now want to invite our Chief Executive at Cooperation Ireland, Peter Sheridan, to close out the showcase and congratulate you all on your involvement in Amazing the Space. We will then finish with the performance of the Song of Hope and Friendship. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Peter Sheridan, and as Chief Executive of Cooperation Ireland, I'm delighted to be part of this Amazing the Space digital showcase. There's probably never been a more important time for the voices of young people to be heard, whether that's on our cultures, traditions, but also the role of sport in uniting people rather than dividing them. In a year that's been full of disruption and change, as young people like the rest of us, you could list all of the difficulties of COVID, of Brexit, the protocol, mental health issues, exam results, border polls, and so on. But Amazing the Space is about recognising that in the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. It's about recognising that rather than accepting the difficulties and conditions as they exist, you take responsibility for changing them. Cooperation Ireland passionately believe that the best way of doing that is to invest in our young people. Amazing the Space is a wonderful opportunity to develop who you are and to use your own enthusiasm and passion to become role models and ambassadors for young people of the future. Of course, the future is uncertain, but through Amazing the Space, you'll have been equipped with many skills which will help you to deal with some of the curveballs life will throw at you. So congratulations to all of you in completing the programme, despite the challenges of this year. But it's now essential that you use those skills to promote good relations and peace building with your peers and across the community. I'd like to thank the Executive Office for their support for the Amazing the Space programme, and in particular Sonia Hill and Andy Smith for their support and help throughout the programme. Thank you also to my own staff, and in particular to Matt, who has had the sleepless nights. In closing, I'm delighted to introduce a song called A Song of Hope and Friendship. This song again demonstrates the skills of our young people, and includes young people from Cork to Coleraine, from Dublin to Galway, and all done during lockdown. But the sentiment in the song, if you listen carefully, could not be further removed from lockdown. I hope you enjoy it, and again, many congratulations.
Changing every day in every possible